Morning, shining. Everybody screaming, say my name and Jason. I'm in.
Travis is crazy, man. Y'all know how Travis is. He's a perfectionist.
He always ends up surprising me.
Travis Scott, I fuck with Travis Scott. I never met him, but his music's hard.
I thought Astroworld was the greatest, most unusual thing, and I love that Travis.
Nobody can translate.
Eat the belly, I just eat the.
You show your fans the real Jack the real Jack.
Jack Berman Webster II, known as Travis Scott, was born on April 30th, 1991 in Austin, Texas.
Happy birthday, dear Jack!
Make a wish first, Jack. Make a wish.
His real name is Jack and often pronounced as Jack, which later inspired his nickname and brand, Cactus Jack. Travis' mother worked for Apple and his father owned his own business. Because both parents were busy with work, they weren't always able to be around to take care of him. As a result, Travis was sent to live with his grandmother in South Park, a rough neighborhood in Houston. Growing up in an area known for high crime and had a strong impact on Travis, those early experiences shaped his worldview and would later influence the raw emotional energy of his music. From ages 1 through 6, Travis lived with his grandmother in South Park, and after that, he moved back with his parents in Missouri City, a middle-class suburb on the southwest side of Houston. His father wasn't just a businessman, he was also a soulful musician, and his grandfather was a jazz artist. In fact, Travis' dad even taught legendary producer DJ Premier how to play the drums.
My dad and my grandfather, man, they were jazz musicians. I was always around music, and so I just attacked it from there.
But despite the strong musical roots in soul and jazz, Travis found himself drawn more to hip-hop. He was into rap from the start. The energy, the attitude, the beats, it was his world.
Morning, shining. Everybody screaming, say my name and Jason. I'm in. And we rockin', moving fast. Nigga cold with 9 and I'm screaming 9, cold 9, Mr. 49er.
Travis Scott graduated from Elkhorn High School at 17, where he also took part in musical theater. Travis then attended the University of Texas at San Antonio, but eventually dropped out to fully pursue his musical career. Travis Scott first formed a duo called Graduates with his friend Chris Holloway in 2008. Releasing an EP on MySpace in 2009, he teamed up with his schoolmate OG Chess to form The Classmates, dropping 2 projects, Buddy Rich and Cruisin' in USA. With Scott handling most of the production, and the group disbanded in 2012 due to personal and financial disagreements. While at the University of Texas at San Antonio, Travis found his time in school depressing. All he really wanted was to make music. He dropped out without telling his parents. He asked his mom for money for books and a new laptop, and they sent it to him. But instead of buying what he said, Travis used the money to buy plane tickets to New York and pursue his dreams.
When I moved to New York, I was like staying at my friend's crib, and I was going to Stadium Red, you know, like Just Blaze and Omen Studio. I used to be there every day.
You just moved to New York on the I want to try to pursue this?
I was in college. My mom thought I was in school, so she thought I was paying for school, but she was like paying for like food and plane tickets.
Where were you in? Where did she think you were in college?
UTSA and UT.
Okay.
Like, I went to both of those.
So you went to Texas San Antonio and Texas Austin?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was going to Stadium Red every day, and then that was kind of like getting to a point, and then like my friend had like a crib in LA. So I went there and we shared a room. But as soon as I got there, like I put out a video in New York, my first Lovesick, it was called Lovesick.
After moving from Austin to Washington Heights, New York City, the Travis began working with his friend Mike Beck, who owned the musical website AlL Roots. He slept on the floor at his friend's house and spent most of the time at Just Blaze studio. He chose the name Travis Scott by combining his favorite uncle named Travis and with the first name, one of the biggest inspiration, Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Muscudi.
I think it's like a genre in its own. I feel like I'm a big avid fan of like Kid Cudi.
Okay.
The early stage, when he was like raging, like even though he still does it, but just not as much anymore. Like throwing Jameson bottles off, I kind of like admire that. Like,
so on some like real rock star, like
yeah. I'm into like
jumping off the stage.
Yeah, like Sid Vicious. Like these people are like real. These people are like real rock stars that like die for their profession. Not Kid Cudi, but just like but he took a lot of like hits for his profession.
Yeah. When the money ran out, Travis had to return home to Houston. However, he didn't give up on his dream. He managed to find the email address of Kanye West, sound engineer and producer. Travis began sending him his track, and the producer immediately recognized his potential. Impressed by his work, he arranged a meeting with Travis, opening door to an pivotal moment in his career.
Where did it all start?
It started on fucking 2026 Waterfall Drive, man. And that's where like it all went down, man. Like fucking my mom's house, my dad's house. It's like I had my room, I turned my bedroom into a full-blown studio. Like fuck the bed, fuck everything, man. Like I slept in a chair. She was just like real. I was on a PC, broke down ass PC, man, you know what I'm saying? Mom got me a Mac, and I just like had to do it, man. Like all my friends, Ashton, all my homies just came through and just like recorded and shit. And so I was like an engineer. And like I seen Kanye making beats in the yellow polo. I was like, oh fuck, this shit's called producing. Fuck, I gotta like learn how to do ill shit. So that's how I picked it up, man.
Travis thought he had finally made it when he met Kanye's producer, but it ended up leading to nothing. Disappointment with no clear directions. He returned home only to be kicked out by his parents. This was a turning point that pushed him further into to pursue his dreams, forcing him to face challenges head on.
I got my man Travis Scott with me. Let's get it, bro.
Money shower feeling. Praise the Lord.
Travis knew he had one more friend in LA who had promised him a place to stay. So he scrapped together whatever the money he left and booked a ticket. But when he landed, his friend had ditched him. Now he was completely broke and had no place to stay. Travis was at his lowest point, yet despite everything, he remained determined to chase his dreams. Just as Travis hit the rock bottom, his phone suddenly rang. It was a turning point. The person on the other end told him that Kanye had listened one of his demos and wanted to meet him in person. It was a break that Travis had been waiting for. Before meeting Kanye, Travis had a conversation with his dad. Although his father was still upset about him dropping out of the college, he expressed pride in Travis for landing a meeting with Kanye West.
But like people.
So tell us about the working relationship with Kanye. What do you guys do together?
He's like one of my like really good friends. It's just like crazy. We spend a lot of time together, like bouncing ideas and like creating music, like starting on ideas or like starting on beats or like raps or even just like conversation about videos or even just like stuff that doesn't have to do with music.
In 2012, everything began to fall into a place for Travis Scott. He signed with Epic Records, and later that year, he secured a deal with Kanye's Good Music.
So no, but what is your situation? You're just with Kanye and T.I.?
Yeah, I'm signed with Kanye and T.I. and Epic Records.
Dope.
Yeah.
So just 3 people. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not
too
bad.
many people in your pocket.
Nah.
Now is the relation? What's the specific relationship with T.I.'s organization?
I signed to T.I. on my record side, and then me and Kanye did like a co-publishing deal.
Oh, okay.
And so, but he's still like in on my record side and stuff. But like how it is in like this music game, like who's signing who, that stuff like really doesn't matter. It's just kind of like relationships.
Around this time, he released Sin City as the part of Cruel Summer project, marking another important milestone in his journey.
10 a.m.
In April of that year, Travis signed a record deal with T.I. Grand Hustle Imprints, which was a pivotal moment in his career. In 2013, Travis released his first big single, Upper Echelon, featuring T.I. and 2 Chainz. The track marked a significant milestone in his rise to fame. Additionally, Travis was credited as a co-producer on 2 tracks from Kanye's Eazy's album, New Slaves and Guilt Trip.
You see it's broke, nigga, race him, that's that don't touch anything in the stove. And another one, Capricorn.
This collaboration further solidified his place in the music industry. And later that year, after working closely with Kanye, Travis dropped his debut mixtape, AlL in May 2013. AlL received mixed review upon its release. Many critics felt that the mixtape seemed unfinished, with song pointing out certain tracks felt incomplete and lacking in polish. While Travis' production skills were widely praised for creativity and innovation, his rapping was often criticized as not being as strong. To promote AlL, Scott released the track Blocka La Flame, which was a remix of Pusha T's song Blocka. The remix featured both production and vocals from Scott, with Young Chuck handling the main production and Mike Dean adding his touch. On March 22, 2013, Scott also dropped the music video of Quintana, a track that's set to appear on AlL.
That's why I'm excited to put my album out. You know, AlL was just the start of what I wanted to do.
A lot of Travis' early music, especially songs from AlL, carries a strong influence from Kid Cudi and Kanye West. You can really hear the sonic similarities and atmospheric production, moody and experimental style that marked their work.
Who were your inspirations? Who did you really pat on yourself and look up to coming up? You're 24 now.
I looked up to MIA and Kid Cudi, man. Kid Cudi is really one of the main dudes I kind of looked at and listened to all the time.
Travis was clearly drawing inspiration from these artists, using their sounds as a foundation while adding his own unique flair to his music.
Scott Miscuddy, my favorite rapper of all time.
Scott Miscuddy is your favorite rapper of all time?
Bro, he's the best rapper of all time. I'm super sad I'm not on this Cudi Life tour, but it's all good.
Why do you think Cudi is such a great... I know I love Cudi, and I hear a lot of people talk about Cudi. I don't always hear people describe him as a great rapper.
I gotta play his music, man. He's the ultimate. It's man, if you gotta really listen to his raps, it's so real.
In 2013, XXL took notice of Travis Scott, growing impact on the music scenes, recognized his potential, and they named him to their prestige freshman class of 2013, which highlighted him as one of the year's most promising new artists.
Lifted, I'm feeling it so gifted, tripping, I'm constantly falling, missing who I found it,
This was a major milestone in his career, solidifying his place among the emerging stars in the hip-hop game, bringing even more attention to his unique sound and style. By this point, Travis Scott had already had a clear vision for his debut mixtape, Rodeo. To build a momentum and tell the story leading to his release, he dropped another mixtape days before Rodeo. The project served a prelude to his debut album, setting the stage for what was to come.
I just dropped this free album.
Now, what's with this free album, man? You just want to give away free music?
I just thought it was at a point where I'm about to drop my album called Rodeo. So I just want to instill the sound of kind of tell people what my album's gonna feel like, and the story, the pre-story to it.
Now, if you had to compare yourself, if you could compare yourself to anybody, who would you compare yourself to, or who would you say the sound that you kind of follow or that you listen to?
I listen to like mad like Bjork or like MGMT type of music. You know, comparison. I'll say back in the day I used to like compare myself to like a likes of like an MIA or like a Kid Cudi or like a Kanye. But now it's kind of like I like created my own sound and like wave and you know cult following and shit. So like I don't really compare myself to anybody now.
Days Before Rodeo featured prominent artists like Young Thug, Rich Homie, Quan, and the Migos. Two of his standouts track, Drug You Should Try It and Mamacita, quickly became the fan favorite.
It's the last days to the rodeo. Last night had me down in the back on my toast. Don't think sunshades and the pill gon' help.
And the mixtape production was major highlight. The best from Metro Boomin and the sound began mixed and mastered by Mike Dean. The project was instrumental in solidifying Travis Scott's plays and rap scenes.
Are you still writing when you travel or not?
Yeah, I don't really write. That's the thing. I kind of just, I'm like on the spot type of person.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, this beat, let's listen to it, let's just like vibe. And then I do a melody and we go back and like do it. But I don't just like sit in my fucking house with no guitar. Like, I'm goddamn like, you know, Taylor Swift or some shit, like writing fucking, you know, folk tales and shit. Nah, I don't do that weak shit.
Days Before Rodeo, Travis Scott influential in 2014 mixtape to lay the foundation for his rise to stardom. It blends dark, atmospheric rap with psychedelic melodies and emotional interceptions. The project opens up with prayer, a cinematic intro that set a moody and intense tone. High energy tracks like Mamacita and Sloppy Toppy feature standout guest appearances from Young Thug and Migos and Rich Homie Quan. Delivers a southern trap bangers with a club-ready appeal. On the other hand, songs like Drug You Should Try It and Grey showcase Travis' more softer and more melodic side, diving into vulnerabilities, heartbreak, and escapism. Don't Play, featuring Big Scene and the 1975, blends indie rock with hard-hitting beats, creating one of the mixtape's most memorable tracks. Skyfall, another standout with Young Thug, dives into the pressure of fame and trust issues over a slow. And tracks like Zombies, Backyard, and Basement Freestyle keep the mixtape grounded in raw energy and emotional grit. Even the bonus track, BACC, adds to a rebellious tone of the project. Overall, Days Before Radio isn't just a mixtape, it's a bold artistic statement that showcases Travis Scott's experimental sound and emotional depth in unique plays in hip-hop. The mixtape helped solidify his place in the industries and build anticipation for his debut album, Rodeo. Before his debut album, back in 2014, Travis was still known as Travis Scott with a $sign in his name. During this time, the song Mamacita started to gain significant attention, helping him to break into the mainstream and building anticipation for his upcoming projects. After success of Days Before Rodeo, Travis Scott announced his first major tour, the Rodeo Tour, with Young Thug and Metro Boomin. The tour kicked off on March 1st, 2015 in Santa Ana, California and wrapped up in Portland on April 1st, 2015. The tour hits major cities and surprised guest appearance from Kanye West, Chris Brown, Whale and Birdman.
How do you keep your pants up when you're performing? It's incredible.
Belt.
Travis was hard at work on his debut album, Rodeo, which was released on September 4, 2015.
Okay. Don't you open up that window. Yeah. Don't you let up that end. Don't you do it. Yeah. Poppin' pills is all we know. Yeah.
By Grand Hustle and Epic Records. The album marked a huge milestone in his career, showcasing his unique sound and solidifying his place in the music industries. Rodeo features star-studded lineup guest appearances, including Quavo, Juicy J, Kanye West, The Weeknd, Socila, Chief Keef, Justin Bieber, Young Thug, and Tua Romeo. The album also featured top-tier production. Mike Dean, Kanye West, Wondergra, Metro Boomin, Pharrell Williams, and others. The album was supported by 2 singles, 3500 featuring Futures and 2 Chainz and Antidote, which became the highest charting singles and reaching number 16 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Rodeo debuted on number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the Billboard Rap Album charts, receiving generally positive reviews from critics. The album solidified Travis Scott's place in the mainstream and showed his unique blend of hip-hop and production and artistry. The concept of radio stems from Travis Scott believed that his journey in music felt like a wild and chaotic ride. In an interview, he compared it to Beyoncé concert or a carnival, full of spectacles, chaos and creativity. He explained, "It's like a carnival, the livestock and the show. It's all part of the event. I feel like how my life is. The carnival is like my imagination and it's the drive behind my vision." Rodeo is a dark and immersive journey through fame, excess and inner conflict. The album captures the chaotic and drug-laced atmosphere of young artist caught between his past and surreal world of stardom. Sonically, Rodeo blends a moody trap beats and psychedelic melody and distorted autotunes vocals to create a dreamlike yet volatile soundscape. Thematically, the album explored indulgence, identity, rebellion, and emotional detachments. Tracks like Oh My This Side, 90210 reveals Travis Scott's introspective side, reflecting on where he came from and what he's becoming. While songs like 3500 and Antidote and Wasted reveals into the hedonistic heights of fame and materialism. Piss on My Grave with Kanye West lashes out in defiance, while Apple Pie closes the album with subtle rejection of mainstream expectations and the so-called American dream. Throughout, Travis positioned himself as both ringleader and prisoner for his own rodeo, a metaphor for the wild and uncontrollable ride of the life and spotlight. The album doesn't follow a linear story, but instead moves through moods and moments. Rodeo is less about lyrical clarity and more about capturing feeling, sense of ambitions and confusion, and rebellion that marked a major turning point in Travis Scott's artistic identity. In late 2015, Travis Scott was steadily rising. He headlined major festivals like Rolling Louds and even performed at summer jams, still using $sign in his name at that time. He dropped tracks like A-Team and Whole Lotta Lovin', keeping his momentum alive. He was also spotted in crowd during Kanye's Eases tour and taking note and soaking the energy. Around this time, Travis was in relationship with Rihanna, which introduced him to a broader pop audience. She even brought him along a anti-world tour in early 2016. The exposure elevated its celebrity status and given his career a serious push into the mainstream recognitions. After his radio album, he immediately started working on his second studio album. In September 2016, Travis Scott released his highly anticipated second studio album, Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight.
Birds in the trap sing McKnight out right now, motherfucker! Everybody it's summertime, why they tryna go? Shit!
I was dressed in my dressing room and like, you know, one of them weird motherfuckers with the headpieces that be like, yo, 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes, man. I'm like, yo, there's fans out here right tonight. And I came to this motherfucker to rage and rage only.
So I'm letting you know right now, if you're not trying to mosh, if you're not trying to crowd surf, if you want to just stand and see if this shit gonna be lit, please get the fuck out! Y'all need to open that mosh pit up, man. Everybody bounce, bounce, yo. I've been moving at a race. Straight up. Tell me what we going through some face. Everybody up in my ears. Turn the music up in the monitors, man. I'm not no fucking opening act, man. Don't fuck with me. What if your face your top? Whoa. Beautiful morning. You're the sign of my morning, man.
Demo. Let's go. I get those goosebumps every time, You come around, You ease my mind, you make everything go fine. Worry about the trials. I'm way too numb, It's way too hard,
Album marked a turning point, blending a moody and atmospheric production with hypnotic melodies and trap rhythms. It showed a more refined version of Travis, both sonically and emotionally, diving into the themes of isolation, fame, and freedom. The title itself symbolized the feeling trapped in success and unable to fully enjoy it. With features from artists like Kendrick Lamar, Kid Cudi, Andre 3000, and The Weeknd, the album debuted on #1 on Billboard 200, cementing Travis as more than just a rising star. The project opens up with Ends, a dark and atmospheric track featuring Andre 3000, where Travis reflects on street life and survival. Way Back follows a woozy production and tempo shifts, mixing bravado with a moment of self-awareness. On Coordinate, he embraced the high life, wealth, women, and indulgence. Through there's an underlying sense of emptiness. Through the Late Night, with Kid Cudi becoming a trippy and nocturnal anthem that blends psychedelia, rebellion, and Cudi's unmistakable influence.
Now, we had Travis on the show. He had mentioned how much respect he has for you as well. How did the collab come together?
Oh man, it was really organic. Like I just kind of went over to his studio a couple times just to shoot the shit and connect with him. And I had an idea to work on a song, and we made a jam. Then we made another jam. Then we made another jam. And next thing you know, I was like, "Yo, man, we got something here. We doing something."
Beeps in the Trap, featuring NAV, floats an icy sense and empty trills, portraying a hollow gaze for pleasure and fame. The hazy SDP interlude drips with melancholy and smoke, a brief about emotional pause. Sweet Sweet adds tenderness, a bittersweet love song filled with longing and addiction to emotional heights. Outside surges back with aggressive confidence, while Goosebump with Kendrick Lamar explores obsessive love and a paranoia of fame in an haunting and hypnotic swirl.
Shout out K-Dot. Thank you, Punch, bro. I love you.
First Take with Branson Tiller shows things down into emotional tension and navigating heartbreak and hesitation. Then comes Pick Up the Phone with Young Thug and Quavo, catchy and vibrant and made for the radio, yet still shadowed by themes of misconnections. Lose return to sorrow and regret and wrapped in heavy autotunes, while Guidance offers brief escape with inspired rhythms. The albums end with Wonderful featuring The Weeknd, euphoric closures that feel celebratory but distant, a party that never quit and satisfy. From start to finish, Bird in the Trap sing Midnight is an emotional paradox, glamorous but ghosty, confident yet conflicted. The title itself ends at the more core message. Even birds with a wing can feel trapped. It's a world built on smoke, sound, and suppressed vulnerabilities. Universal Music Publishing Group officially signed him to a worldwide publishing deal, marking a new level in his ascent through the music industry. In early 2017, Travis Scott stayed active with major performances, from NBA All-Star Weekend to Vocal Music, the art project in New Orleans. He also launched his Bird Eye View tour on March 10, and that same month, he landed his first top 10 hit as featured artist on Drake More Life track, Portland, alongside Quavo, which peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it was a defining stretch that showed Travis was becoming a household name.
Travis Scott, I fuck with Travis Scott. I never met him, but his music's hard.
You doing good, Travis. Keep it up, Travis. Oh my God.
In 2017, Travis Scott began dating Kylie Jenner, a relationship that brought major mainstream attention to his name. And that same year, he also launched Cactus Jack Records, aiming to give himself and other rising artists a more creative freedom to control over their music. In 2017, Travis Scott dropped 3 surprise tracks on SoundCloud, A-Man and Green and Purple, featuring Playboy Carti and Butterfly Effect. The last of which became a major hit and fan favorite, and that year he also featured a string of big songs that expanded his reach across genres, including Go Off from the Fate of the Furious soundtrack, Skywalker and the Ghostface Killer with 21 Savage and Offset, No Better with Major Lazer and Quavo, and 4 AM by 2 Chainz and the lesser known Kelly Price Amigos, where Travis closed out the Culture album with standout
He always
verse.
ends up surprising me somehow.
How so?
He just always surprises me. Like, he's just, I mean, aside from his natural talent, I think he always, even as relatable as he can make things, there's something creative and just like unique about how he puts things. Like, I'll give you an example. The second line in his verse is, you know, wildin' on my haters, in my 23s having a Jordan moment. It's like, it's the simplest, you understand exactly what he's saying. And it's just, I've never heard that before. And I love hip-hop. I love hip-hop. I've like grew up on hip-hop and love lyricism and love real MCs. And he just, you know, even in his ability to make things accessible, he always comes with creative, unique things to say that are like, only he would have thought of that and just made it dope. And he always does it. So he really did grace the song. I appreciate it, man.
The music video for Butterfly Effect dropped on July 14, 2017, signaling Travis Scott's continuing momentum.
Hold on. I see my VIP section right here. We getting a little bit closer. This shit right here, they getting sweaty. Y'all are a sweat team. You get what I'm saying? We're gonna try this one more time. I'm not playing with no motherfucking games with y'all motherfuckers tonight.
Are they ready now?
Yeah.
Then, on August 10, just after wrapping up Kendrick Lamar Damn 2 as an opening act, Travis tweeted, "Album mode," letting fans know he is now fully focused on completing Astroworld. For Travis, Astroworld wasn't just another album. It was the album inspired by now defunct Six Flags theme park in Houston. The project became a tribute to his childhood dreams, personal experience, and creative visions. It was his attempt to build a world where imagination, nostalgia, and music experimentation collided. In October 2017, Travis Scott appeared on Chris Wu track Dissolve, featured in the Chinese-born Canadian rapper's Spatial Piece. This collaboration marked another milestone in Travis Scott expanding global
The
influence.
song with Travis Scott. How did the collaboration come about with you two to work together?
Oh man, super organic, man. Like it was nothing about like all these people ask me like how much you pay Travis and all that. I was like, nah, that's not where it started. Like obviously, like things like that, it happens. But like for me, what I like about this collaboration, I think that really it meant something was because the music came first. He flew out from New York to LA, and we were in the studios together, and we were talking, and we were just really like thinking like how can we make this work, right? And then we were playing some beats, and then we came out with this hook, and then in a day we finished the song, and then the whole entire deal didn't come like way later when we were about to release the song actually. So everything was organic.
And later in the year, December 6, Scott joined Trippie Redd on the track Dark Knight Domo from Trippie's debut album, Life's a Trip. The song peaked at number 72 on the Billboard Hot 100 and solidifying Scott's impact in the rap scenes. Then on December 21, Travis and Quavo released their much anticipated joint album, Hunchjack, blending their unique style under the collective name Huncho Jack. The name is a mixture of Quavo's nickname Huncho and a playful nod to Travis Scott's first name, Jack.
Black and Chinese, man's on relief. From the north to the mall, 500K just to host. Go. If that coupe came with rims, I don't want it. Stop me out. ATL, this shit ludicrous. 40 on my hip like it's new fashion. Blasting.
Huncho Jack debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and had a 7-track chart on the Billboard Hot 100, showing the strong collaborations between Travis Scott and Quavo. Then on May 4, 2018, just 4 days after 27th birthday, Travis dropped a single, Watch, featuring Lil Uzi Vert and Kanye West. The song was released as a promotional track for his upcoming third studio album, Astroworld. Astroworld was finally released on August 3, 2018. And it became a defining moment in Travis Scott's career, both critically and commercially. The album was not just a continuation of artistic vision, but a testament of his influence in shaping modern hip-hop and popular culture. Astroworld takes its name from now shuttered amusement park in Travis Scott's hometown of Houston, but for him, it symbolized much more than just a nostalgic theme park. It embodies happiness, joy, excitement, and thrill of escape, capturing the magic and wonder he left as a child. The album reflects Travis' attempt to bring those feelings of wonder into his music, creating an immersive experience that pulls listener into his world. Astroworld debuted on number 1 on the Billboard 200 and quickly became a cultural phenomenon. The album breakout single Sicko Mode topped the Billboard Hot 100 and becoming Travis Scott's highest charting solo single to date.
Sun is down, freezing cold. That's how we already know. Winter's here, my dog will probably do it for. That's just all we know, we don't know nothing else.
The album is a sonic roller coaster, capturing the wonder, excitement, surreal energy Travis experienced as a child visiting the now defunct Astroworld amusement park in his hometown of Houston. The opening track, Stargazing, set the tone with the psychedelic vibes, followed by Carousel, featuring Frank Ocean and offering carnival-like feel. Sicko Mode serves as a centerpiece, known for its 3 distinct beat switches, represents Travis' unpredictability and boundary-pushing style. R.I.P. Screw pays homage to the Houston legend DJ Screw, while the Stop Trying to Be God delivers a profound message with gospel-inspired vocals from Steve Wonder and James Blake. Tracks like No Bystanders bring a raw and rebellion energy, while Skeleton featuring Weeknd and Pharrell represents a more ethereal and dreamy side of the album. The theme of the transformation and changes are encapsulated in Butterfly Effect, while Austin Fornication combines Travis' pride in his hometown with his lifestyle of indulgence. The album closing track, Coffee Bean, offers introspection, shedding light to Travis' vulnerabilities and struggle with relationships, something rare in his discography overall.
I thought Astroworld was the greatest, most unusual thing, and I love that Travis waited a day before the show to announce it, so I love Travis for being a genius for thinking of doing something crazy like that.
Astro Thunder by Travis Scott. I chose this one because 1, I love this album so much. 2, I love Travis Scott so much because of the albums that he makes.
Have you met him?
No. He definitely doesn't know I exist. But
He might do.
He definitely doesn't. When I tell you he doesn't know I exist, I'm telling you the truth.
In 2018, alongside the release of Astroworld, Travis also announced the launch of Astro Festival, a musical festival inspired by the album theme in the Astroworld amusement park in his hometown of Houston. The inaugural festival took place on 17th November 2018 and becoming an annual celebration of music, culture, and Travis' unique brand. Later that year, on November 2, Scott was featured on 5 tracks from Metro Boomin's debut studio album, Not All Heroes Wear Caps. The tracks included Over to You, Dreamcatcher with Swally, and Up to Something with Young Thug, and only one interlude, and No More with Kodak Black and 21 Savage.
Is it that supposed to be on?
Man, that shit is so fucking hard. Travis is crazy. Y'all know how Travis is. He's a perfectionist. He's been working on that shit for a minute, but he sent it last night, and I was trying to get it, but they was talking a whole bunch of shit that I don't understand. But
Like
it's
what, you gotta clear it and all that shit?
Nah, it's codes and some other shit, but they gonna get it on there. That shit hard though. That shit too hard.
So is this a feature or a whole song?
Man, I ain't even gonna tell you what it is. You gonna see though. It's some other shit.
You said also on
it
the
ain't just no verse.
Mm.
It's more than that. I tell you that.
He also provided background vocals on Space Cadet with Gona. As the year drew to close, Billboard reported that Scott would appear at Super Bowl halftime show in February 2019, performing alongside Maroon 5. This came at a time when the NFL was facing criticism for its treatment of Colin Kaepernick, the former quarterback who had begun kneeling during the national anthem to protest the police brutality. High-profile artists like Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Cardi B had turned down the opportunity to perform at Super Bowl, showing the solidarity with Kaepernick. Travis Scott accepted the Super Bowl performance offer, but only after negotiating a condition with NFL. They would need to donate $500,000 to a social justice organization. This move sparked a debate, with some praising Travis for his commenting to a social cause, while others criticized him for performing at an event linked to NFL controversial treatment of Kaepernick. The performance took place during a halftime show, where the Scott performed Sicko Mode in front of a massive global audience. Despite the controversy surrounding his appearance, it marked another major milestone in Travis Scott's career. The Travis Scott Super Bowl performance in February 2019 received mixed reactions. While his energetic stage presence impressed many, some viewers criticized his performance for a moment where he appeared out of his breath and missed a few lyrics. Additionally, his choice to perform without autotune drew attention, exposing a raw vocals delivery that divided opinions. Some appreciated the authenticity, while others felt it didn't live up to his other usual polished sounds. In April 2019, Travis Scott released his single titled Power is Power, featuring SZA and The Weeknd, for the popular HBO series Game of Thrones. The track was a part of a compilation album of the show's final season and garnered significant attention due to the star-studded lineup. A month later, in May 2019, Scott teamed up with J. Cole, Young Thug for the single The London. The song became a hit and was later included on Thug's debut studio album, So Much Fun, which helped him further solidify Scott's presence in the mainstream music scenes. The same month, Scott was also featured on the remix of Young Thug, Hot, alongside Gona, which was featured on the original version. The remix was later included on Deluxe Edition, So Much Fun, and released in December 2019. Scott also appeared on the track Hip Hop a Jet from the Deluxe Edition. On December 27, 2019, Young Thug, So Much Fun was officially released. It featured the remix of Scott's hit single, Heist in the Room, with Socila and Lil Baby. The remix, which highly anticipated after Lil Baby verse was leaked month earlier, added a fresh dynamic to the track. On the same day, Scott released the music video for Gang Gang performed by Wiz with uncredited vocals and cameo appearance for Scott and Shakewez and Luxury Tax 50. Few days later, on December 30, 2019, Scott released the music video of Garden, a track that he collaborated on with the late Pop Smoke. The video marked a powerful moment for celebration for Pop Smoke legacy. In March 2020, Scott dropped the music video of Out, another collaboration with Young Thug. These releases helped Scott and momentum going, contributing his influence in the rap scenes with the widespread culture presence. In April 20, Scott made a historic mark on both music and gaming worlds by performing the series of virtual live show in Fortnite Battle Royale. These performances held from April 23rd to 25th, 2020 and were visually based on the immersive experience of its Astroworld 2, blending his music in the dynamic digital environment of the game. The event was a massive success, attracting 27 million viewers and boosting sale of Fortnite branded Cactus Jack products, including action figures. As part of the event, Scott also premiered a new track titled The Scots, a collaboration with Kid Cudi, and the song was released under their duo name, The Scott, and became instant hit, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And this marked Scott's third US number 1 hit and further solidifying his place in the mainstream. The Fortnite event also included a range of cosmetic items for the player of thoughts, inspired by the Scott and his concept, allowing players to purchase skins and accessories related to the performance. The virtual concert experience not only broke new ground for live shows and video games, but also further cemented Travis Scott's culture dominance across various entertainment platforms. In November 21, 50,000 fans flooded into NGR Park in Houston for what was supposed to be an unforgettable night. Travis Scott Astroworld Festival. The excitement was palpable, but what began as a celebration soon turned into a tragedy. When Scott took the stage, the crowd erupted, but it quickly became overwhelming. Waves of fame surged forward, causing a crush near the front. People were unable to breathe or move, and others struggled to stay upright.
Concert goers rushed through the gates. The VIP security checkpoint destroyed. Some people trampled, and at least one person hurt. Just before 9, about 30 minutes before Travis Scott would take the stage, a countdown timer started. Some fans say they felt the crowd pushing forward and backwards aggressively. And as that clock got closer to 0, it got much worse. Just after 9, Travis Scott goes on stage to start his set. The rowdy crowd rushing toward that stage. People couldn't breathe, some passing out as he performed his first song. By 9:30, the Houston Fire Department is receiving reports that people are hurt in the crowd. Firefighters send help to the scene.
I see somebody in the tree. Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on.
At the same time, Houston police officials say they told the show's producers people are going down. By 9:38, the Houston Fire Department says it declared a mass casualty event, reporting it took 2 minutes for the first unit to get to the scene and make patient contact. Concert goers say they were calling out for help, but emergency responders couldn't hear them over the loud music. Finally, around 10:10, Travis Scott stops performing. Some attendees say he actually played his full set before stopping.
I'm sorry, but that wasn't enough. When we were pulling people out, I'm hitting cameraman. Like, hey, we need to get him out. Like, people just like sitting on my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't enough.
Where your feet were placed is where your feet stayed the whole night. It was just my rib cage was so squished that I couldn't expand my chest, expand my lungs to catch a breath.
As a member of the security team alerts the staff to multiple people without pulses.
Despite the chaos, the music continued for another 40 minutes. The Scots seemed unaware for growing disaster while fans were being trampled and crushed. Videos from that night show its heartbreaking scenes of people climbing platforms, begging securities to stop the show, but their cries went unheard. The security consultant Mary Walgren reported to police that he had informed the organizer about the deadly situation backstage, but was told that the show had to go on because Drake still had 3 more songs to perform.
Declared that a mass casualty event, but the concert continued for another 40 minutes. Was there ever any communication to you on stage that you should have missed?
Well, yeah, I mean, they just told me right after, the guests get off stage, we're going to end the show. That's what we did. Other than that, there was no other communication.
In the aftermath, the grand jury in Houston decided not to charge Scott with a criminal responsibility for the tragedy, even though the incident remained a devastating event in the history of live music. The tragic event at Astroworld Festival was deeply disturbing, with footages surfacing that vividly showed the chaos and desperation of the crowd. One of the shocking aspects of the aftermath was disfigurement of some of the victims, including one whose face was severely stabbed on during the crushing. After mid-2020, Travis Scott shifted focus toward teasing his highly anticipated 4th studio album, Utopia, while also continuing to diversify his artistic and business portfolio.
Check West, the scouts is on the way. We got Fago about to put a little EP out, that's on the way. And right after that, Utopia.
In early 2021, he dropped the remix of Goosebumps, reformatting it into a multi-day event following his haze due to COVID-19 pandemic. As anticipation for Utopia grew, Scott previewed tracks like Escape Plan and dropped a 2-song single, Escape Plan and Mafia. However, the tragedy at festival, Scott remained relatively silent for a while. He made his return in April 2022, Hold That Heart, slowly making his way into the public eye, with a performance at major events like Billboard Music Awards and a solo show at O2 Arena in London. Scott also launched his road to Utopia, Las Vegas residency, to continue building anticipation for his new music. By the end of 2020, Scott appeared prominently on Metro Boomin album Heroes and Villains in 2023 and performed at Midwest Festival alongside Calvin Harris, and signaling his gradual return to the spotlight. He released Utopia on July 18, 2023 alongside his debut film Circus Maxima. The album featured the wide range of collaborators, from Beyoncé and Drake to Bon Iver in The Weeknd, and debuted on number 1 on the Billboard 200. In 2024, Scott performed at Grammy Awards, where Utopia was nominated for the Best Studio Albums. His performance of Fiend stirred the controversies due to his remarks about never winning a Grammy despite multiple nominations. Later that year, he remastered, officially released days before Rodeo on streaming platform, which eventually soared to number 1 after a dramatic chart climb. Utopia is a daring and expensive project, blending in genres and emotion in a unique and cinematic way. The albums open up with high intensity, Piano, and the Thank God, immediately thrusting the inner listener into the chaotic world of Utopia. The project waved through the emotional and experimental beats, ranging from reflective moments in tracks like My Eye and Del Resto to explore anthems like Fiend and Meltdown, with a feature from Playboi Carti and Drake. One of the standout tracks is K-pop, collaboration with The Weeknd and Bad Bunny, showcasing a radio-ready hit with a smooth summery bounce. As the album progressed, songs like Utopia, Twin, Circus Maximus, and Schizo pushed the boundaries and charging productions, creating almost an otherworldly atmosphere. The closing tracks, Telekinesis and Till Further Notice, give Utopia a spiritual conclusion, leaving the listener with the sense of having journeyed through a complex and surreal emotional landscape. Overall, it's not an album, it's an immersive experience that captured Travis Scott's journey through fame, ambitions, and self-reflections, marked by his signature psychedelic and chaotic sounds. Travis Scott's journey is a testament to resilience, visions, and other power of perseverance. From the humble street of Austin to a dominating global stage, his path was built on hard work, passions, and unwavering belief in his craft. Along the way, he didn't just create music, he created an entire universe for his fans, one that allowed them to escape and experience life through his lens. However, this journey wasn't without challenges. Travis faced criticism, controversies, and personal heartache moments that might have stopped others in their tracks. Yet, he praised fueled not only his own dreams, but also the hope of those who found inspiration in his story. He became the voice for the misunderstood and the dreamer, and mischief who felt like outsider. Travis turned every moment of struggle into the opportunity for growth, whether it was turning pain into an art and transforming chaos into creativity. He never stopped pushing the boundary. He's more than a rapper. He's a visionary, a cultural architect, an embodiment of the power of perseverance, architect, and even when the world is questioning him, he answered what he knows best. Art that moves hearts, visually that inspire, an experience that redefine the way we see the world. Travis Scott has proven that in the midst of noise, it is possible to find your own voice and make it resonate forever.
I think the important thing too is to remember that like the kids rule the world. They're never gonna stop ruling the world. And I think the more that we acknowledge that, the more like peace we could probably find. I first wanna thank God, my mom, Stormy, all the amazing fans out there. I love y'all so much. We couldn't do it without y'all.